If you think your Monday mornings are rough, wait until you meet Ben. Single dad, mid-30, with the kind of tired eyes that only come from juggling 2 jobs and a 5-year-old daughter named Lily, who was currently waving at him with a chocolate-smeared face from the terminal window. His last-minute business trip felt like a betrayal, but the freelance engineering contract could finally pay for Lily's needed dental surgery. Every penny counted, which is why he'd spent hours online to secure seat 2A, an aisle seat in the premium economy bubble, a rare splurge for the extra legroom his 6'3" frame desperately needed. It was his tiny sanctuary before 48 hours of high-stakes meetings. He boarded early, stowed his worn leather satchel, a gift from Lily, covered in dinosaur stickers, and sank into the plush fabric with a grateful sigh, immediately logging into the plane's Wi-Fi to video call his daughter one last time. He was midway through blowing a kiss to the screen when a shadow fell over him. The scent of expensive citrus and cold ambition hit him first. "You're in my seat." The voice was a blade of polished steel. He looked up into the perfectly composed face of a woman in a stark white tailored suit. Alina Thorne. He recognized her from Forbes covers, the tech world's so-called Valkyrie CEO, renowned for her ruthless mergers and impossible standards. "I'm sorry, there must be a mistake," Ben said, holding up his boarding pass. 2A. "I've got it right here." She didn't glance at it. "I always fly in 2A. My assistant handles it. He must have screwed up the booking. I need this seat." Her tone left no room for debate. It was a statement of cosmic law. The flight attendant hurried over, her smile strained. A quick check showed the grim truth. A double booking due to a system glitch. Corporate hierarchy, however, needs no ticket. "Sir, we have a lovely window seat available further back," the attendant murmured, her eyes pleading for compliance. Ben's heart hammered. The back of the plane meant no Wi-Fi, no call to Lily before takeoff, and knees jammed against a seat for 5 hours. "I booked this specifically. My daughter, I was just..." Alina cut him off, already placing her laptop on his seatback tray. "I'm sure it's very sentimental. This is a multi-billion-dollar company I run. I have a critical merger to close midair. Move, now." The words, delivered so cleanly, so publicly, sliced through him. The surrounding passengers looked away, pretending not to hear. Humiliation, hot and sharp, climbed his neck. He saw the flight attendant's apologetic grimace, the impatient tap of Alina's manicured finger on her phone. With a stiffness that betrayed his hurt, Ben gathered his things, the dinosaur stickers on his bag suddenly feeling childish. As he squeezed down the aisle to row 28, a middle seat crammed between a broad-shouldered man and a window, he heard her dismissive sigh of relief. He crammed in, the walls of his life feeling closer than ever. But before we see how this flight unfolds, do me a favor. If you've ever felt pushed aside by someone who thought they were more important, hit that like button. It lets me know these are the kinds of stories you want to hear. And subscribe to True Kindness Tales, because the real story is just beginning, and you won't believe where it goes. Ben's new seat was a prison. The man to his left spilled into the armrest, and the window to his right showed the ground crew loading luggage, a world away. He fumbled with the in-flight entertainment system, but his mind was a reel of Lily's disappointed face. He pulled out his phone, no service, and stared at a photo of them building a blanket fort. His quiet misery was a stark contrast to the ambient murmur of the cabin. Then, shift. A flight attendant rushed down the aisle, face pale. The captain's voice, usually so calm, crackled with strained authority. "Ladies and gentlemen, we are experiencing a minor technical issue. We'll be holding at the gate for a short while. Please remain seated." Minutes ticked by. Then more. The air grew warm, then stuffy. Whispers sprouted like weeds. "I heard a security alert," someone behind Ben muttered. A baby began to cry. An hour passed. No movement. No explanation. The plane became a petri dish of anxiety. Up in 2A, Alina Thorne was a storm of quiet fury. She'd been on a video call, her sharp commands echoing in the hushed premium cabin, when the Wi-Fi died. Then the air conditioning whined to a halt. She stabbed her call button. "What is the delay? I have a closing call in 90 minutes. This is unacceptable." The flight attendant's patience was thinning. "We're following protocols, ma'am. It's out of our hands." Alina's composure began to crack. She was a woman who commanded networks, markets, and destinies, yet here she was, trapped in a metal tube, utterly powerless. Her merger, the product of a year's brutal work, was evaporating second by second. She stared out at the tarmac, where 3 unmarked black vehicles had just pulled up silently near the wing. Her breath hitched. This was no technical issue. Back in row 28, Ben noticed it too. The specificity of the fear, the military precision of the ground crew's sudden retreat. He was an engineer, he understood systems, cause and effect. This was an effect of something very serious. A man in a suit too heavy for the weather walked to the cockpit door, flanked by two others. The cabin fell utterly silent. The captain came back on, his voice grave. Ladies and gentlemen, I need your full attention. The flight has been grounded by federal authorities due to a credible security concern. No one will be leaving the aircraft until a thorough investigation is conducted. We appreciate your calm and cooperation. Panic, cold and pure, flooded the cabin. A security concern. Words that conjured images of bombs and terrorists. A woman started praying. Alina Thorne, from her stolen seat, looked down the long, crowded aisle, her eyes wide for the first time with something other than arrogance, primal, human fear. For 3 hours, they sat. The plane, once a vessel of destinations, became a sweltering waiting room of dread. News trickled in via smuggled phone glances, a specific, non-specific threat. A name on the manifest. The tension was a physical weight. Children grew restless and thirsty, the airline's limited water supply was rationed. An elderly man near Ben looked faint, fanning himself with a safety card. Ben, despite his own fear and resentment, found his dad instincts kicking in. He gave his bottled water to the old man. He used his long arms to reach the overhead vent for a struggling mother. He made silly faces at the crying baby, pulling from his deep well of practice with Lily. A small, calm oasis formed around row 28. Alina watched it all. She saw the man she'd humiliated become a quiet pillar of decency. He shared his snacks. He told a corny joke to the broad-shouldered man, diffusing the man's visible anger. He was leading not by authority, but by gentle, practical kindness. She, the legendary leader, sat paralyzed, her merger documents useless, her commanding voice silenced. Her whole identity was built on control, and she had none. A profound emptiness opened up inside her, far deeper than the frustration of a delayed deal. She saw the dinosaur stickers on the bag by his feet, a testament to a love she dismissed as sentiment. Her chest ached with a strange, unfamiliar shame. Then, the final blow. The lead agent entered the cabin, a microphone in hand. We have identified the individual of interest, he announced. Every passenger held their breath. The threat was attached to a specific seat assignment, not a person. Due to a last-minute seat change, we must now interview the 2 passengers associated with seat 2A. All eyes swiveled to Alina, then tracked back to Ben in row 28. The color drained from Alina's face. Her seat. The seat she'd demanded. The threat was for whoever sat there. In a moment of crystalline, horrifying clarity, she understood. Her petty, powerful entitlement had inadvertently placed a target on her own back, and she had forced this kind man, this father, to take her place in a potential line of fire. As federal agents moved toward them both, something in Alina broke. Not with a whimper, but with a surge of grace. She stood, her voice clear and loud enough for the whole cabin to hear. Officer, before you speak to him, you need to know the truth. I forced him to switch seats. He did not want to. I used my status to pressure him and the crew. The seat was legally his. Any threat associated with 2A is mine to answer for, not his. The cabin was stunned to silence. Ben, halfway out of his middle seat, froze. The agent's gaze sharpened. Alina continued, looking directly at Ben, her eyes glistening. I am solely responsible. And, I am deeply, deeply sorry. The investigation confirmed the threat was a hoax, a malicious competitor targeting Alina's travel plans. But the real damage and the real healing were already done. As they finally deplaned, Alina didn't head for her waiting town car. She walked straight to Ben, who was rushing to call Lily. Please, she said, her voice raw. Let me make this right. Not with money. With a real job. My company needs engineers with your calm under pressure. And, I need to learn how to be a human being again. Ben, weary but seeing the genuine wreckage in her eyes, simply nodded. It wasn't forgiveness, not yet. But it was a start. This, my friends, is how a moment of arrogance and a moment of fear can collide to create a moment of profound humanity. Alina didn't just give back a seat, she gave up her shield. And Ben, in his simple kindness, taught the most powerful person on the plane the most powerful lesson. If this story reminded you that grace can be found in the most unexpected places, please let me know by liking this video. And if you believe in second chances and true kindness, subscribe to the channel and hit that notification bell. We have so many more tales of humanity's hidden light to share with you. Until next time, remember, kindness isn't weak. It's the most grounding force of all.